Welcome to lesson 24 of numbers and operations. Multiply fractions. Multiplying fractions is so easy. Okay, I'm gonna multiply. Now, cross product. Cross product becomes important when you are multiplying because it will make large numbers much more simple. And if you don't remember how to do this, you can skip this step. But cross multiplying looks at the top of one fraction and the bottom of the other fraction. And I told you before in a previous video, I'm just going to call it the top and the bottom instead of the numerator and denominator. So what you do is look for multiples. 7 goes into 21 3 times. So you can divide by 7 here and get 1, divide by 7 here and get 3. And on this top and bottom, opposite top and bottom, 3 goes into 12 4 times. So 3 divides into 3 once, and then 3 divides into 12, or 12 divided by 3, 4 times. So you're left with 1 times 1, because when you multiply fractions, tops multiply tops, and bottoms multiply bottoms. So 4 times 3 is 12. If you're not familiar or comfortable with multiplying, taking factors out of cross products or whatever, you can go ahead and multiply like usual. 7 times 3 is 21. And then you're going to have to do 12 times 20 on your own. Probably have a calculator or whatever. But 12 times 20, 12 times 2 is 24. 12 times 20 is 240. And then another 12 is 252. Now from here, you're going to have to simplify this fraction down by trying to divide by 3 and or 7. And you'll just keep simplifying the fraction down. But if you take your cross products, you can see that 1 over 12, if you do 1 divided by 12 and 21 divided by 252, you'll see that they'll come out with the same decimal value. Here's some rules and notes for you. Okay, so multiply and simplify the fraction. So multiplying fractions is so easy. You take 7 over 8, multiply to 1/2. 7/8 times 1/2. So 7 over 8 times 1 over 2. 2 doesn't go into 7 evenly, so you do not have the opportunity to cross multiply or factor out or whatever you've been calling it since grade school. So to multiply fractions, tops multiply tops. 7 times 1 is 7, and bottoms multiply bottoms. 8 times 2 is 16. So 7/8 times 1/2 is 7/16. There's your answer. Okay, let's look at our next example. Multiply and simplify the fraction. So now look, we have a number next to a parentheses with no order of operation in between. The negative is inside the parentheses, so we know when a number is next to a parentheses, that means multiply. So setting these up as proper fractions, -3/8 times -2/8 is what we have. So I'm going to do this one 2 ways. So -3/8 times -2/8 gives us, if I just multiply across the top, -3 times -2 gives us +6. And then 8 times 8 is 64. Oh, but look at this. I'm now going to have to reduce this fraction down. So let's see. 6 doesn't go into 64 evenly, so they both end in 3. So let's see. I will have to now simplify this fraction by dividing top and bottom by 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 64 divided by 2 is 32. And now this fraction is simplified, and this is the proper way to do a fraction. And another way to do this problem is to cross multiply to reduce the fraction while you have a chance. We know that 2 divides into 8 evenly, so you can divide 2 by 2 to get 1 and 8 by 2 to get 4. And now when we multiply, 3 times 1 becomes 3, positive 3, negative 3 times negative 1. And then 4 times 8 becomes 32. And look, we get the same answer. We did it the long way and simplified, or we simplified in between and reduced the fraction down. So there are multiple ways to solve math problems. Okay, our third example. Now, here's something you will see in old math books. I don't know if they use this anymore, or maybe when we get the percentages, you'll see this. The word of means multiply. So you're going to have to translate some of this language. And then negative 60. But you say, hey, Mr. Walls, 60 is not a fraction. But watch this. All numbers can be divided by 1, because if you divide any number by 1, you still get the same number. So now we have a fraction of 60. Negative 60 over 1 is the same as negative 60. And then we'll solve this on the next page. So 3/5 of means multiply. Negative 60 over 1. All numbers are understood to be fractions. Again, we're going to solve this by multiplying across. 3 times 6 is 18. Negative 180, because the 0 is the 0. 5 times 1 is 5. And now we have to divide. 180 ends in 0, so it's divisible by 5. So if we divide by 5 over 5 to reduce the fraction, 5 divided by 5 is 1. 180 divided by 5, 5 goes in 3. 3 times 5 is 15, 30, 36 times, which 36 divided by 1 is still 36. And our answer is negative 36. Or we could have simplified in the middle of the problem, 3/5 times negative 60 over 1. And we know that 5 divides into 5 once, and 5 goes into 60 12 times. And 1 times 1 is 1, so we can ignore it. And then 3 times negative 12 is negative 36, getting the same answer. When you solve math problems, you need to find a way that's most comfortable for you, and then practice that same method over and over and over again until you're strong at that skill. So I may have time to show you multiple ways to solve a problem, and then you're going to have to practice it on your own. And that is the end of our examples. Work on your practice problems, and I'll see you at the end of this video. Okay, multiplying the fraction. First thing we have to do is turn 24 into a fraction. How do we do that? We put 24 over 1 times negative 3 over 8. Since I am going to, cross multiply just to make the steps easier. So 8 divided by 8 is 1. 8 goes into 24 3 times. And now you have negative 3 times negative 3, which gives you positive 9. If I'd have did 24 times 3, well, let me do it just to show you. Negative 24 times negative 3 over 8. 3 times 24 is 72 over 8. 72 divided by 8 is 9. So you still get the same answer no matter which way you do it. Okay, look at this. We got a mixed number here. So just like with adding and subtracting fractions, the first thing you're going to do is change 2 3/4 into an improper number. So 2 times 4 is 8, plus 3 is 11. The bottom stays the same, times 3 over 8. There's no chance to cross multiply anywhere, and I do not believe that this fraction will be able to be simplified. So 11 times 3 is 33. Bringing over the negative. 4 times 8 is 32. This is an answer, but this answer is not complete because the top is bigger than the bottom. So you have an improper fraction. So what we're going to do is divide the top by the bottom. 33 divided by 32 gives us 1. And then 33 minus 32 is 1, so we have 1/32. The bottom stays the same because that is the size of the pie that is being divided. So remember, after you multiply and change it into an improper fraction into a mixed number, the bottoms will remain the same. Okay, and here we go, 4/5 of 50. 4/5, the word of means multiply, and then let's make 50 a proper fraction. And I'll solve it the long way first. 4 times 50 is 200 over 5. 5 goes into 24 times. Bring over the 0, we have 40. Or we can simplify in the middle of the problem. 5 goes into 5 once. 5 goes into 50 10 times. 4 times 10 is 40. We can ignore the ones because any number divided by 1 is the same number, which is an identity property of numbers. So if you're unfamiliar with some of the things I did, go back and look at some of the earlier videos, properties of numbers, and some of the intro to fractions that I used. And take your time, practice, practice, practice. As always, thank you for watching the video. Subscribe and hit the notification button, and I will see you in future videos.